couple of announcements. Just want to remind folks that this Friday, March 1st, is the deadline for applications for mobile food truck licenses for the year, and the the licensing period will be from May 1st. So if there's anybody out there interested, your deadline is Friday. And second, I would like to acknowledge and honor the Brookline Recreation Special Olympics basketball team has been invited to come to the Boston Celtics game on Wednesday, March 13th at the TD Garden. The team, made of high school students, will play a scrimmage during the halftime show of the game. And just for everybody's understanding about this, the Recreation Department has a therapy division that coordinates 5 different sports through Special Olympics and involves about 120 athletes and volunteers. So we're very proud that our Special Olympics basketball team has been selected to participate at the Celtics on March 13th. Other announcements from members of the board? No? Anybody? Okay, then we will move to our miscellaneous items. Oh, sorry, before that, another thing that is going to happen on March 1st is something we're all hearing about and nobody seems to know what it really means. But technically, if the Congress doesn't act, there will be sequestering, and I'm going to ask our town administrator to tell us what we know about anything and how it might impact on Brookline.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chairman. So I will be brief because I don't know a whole lot, and we're trying very hard to learn more. But as you pointed out, if the Congress fails by Friday to reach a deal on deficit reduction, then there are a number of automatic budget reductions that will transpire, and that is, as you mentioned, is referred to as sequestration. And so I did include in your packet a couple of analyses that we received. One was from the White House, and then the other was from Congressman Markey, who did a nice job putting things together. And then from that, I've asked each department head if they would try to collaborate with some of their professional organizations who do some analysis of budget issues and other legislative issues for them, if they could help me and help us understand what the direct impacts to the town of Brookline might be from sequestration. And I'm afraid that we don't have a lot of information. In fact, many of the federal funds that we receive go through the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and even they don't really understand the full impact, and even if they do receive cuts, how they will then apportion those to the cities and towns. My major concern is in 2 areas. One is the education funding. The town gets IDEA funds, which are special education funds, and Title I funds from the federal government. And so we're working on those, and also the Community Development Block Grant funding, which is the major funding that we receive for community development and programs for the disadvantaged in the community. So those are the areas where I'm going to be working on mostly, but I unfortunately really don't have a lot of detail at this time.
Okay, more to come. It is my understanding, at least, that the immediate impact is probably something that we won't notice until some time has passed, that it'll be weeks or at least months before. Selectman Daley?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I know I was complimenting the police department on their efforts to get grant funding for various things. And I was thinking that that might be a likely target of this.
Yeah, in fact,
Those are
the
kind,
chief did respond briefly and indicated that justice assistance grants are going to be cut, and work study grants, and some violence against women grants, and so on and so forth. But when the impact will actually happen for us, it's hard to say, the timing of that. But I do expect that many of our smaller grant programs will be eliminated.
It was also my understanding that we're at the end, more or less, of the first quarter of the federal fiscal year, and so anything that was committed up until March 1st should occur And the issue is things that are committed for after March 1st, but we heard about before then, would possibly be affected. I don't know. Lots of uncertainty. However,
Thank you.
I don't think we have answers. We just have more questions. Next item is the minutes from the 12th of February. Anybody have corrections or amendments?
None.
I have one spelling correction, which I will pass on. Please give that to Kate. Any others? All right, then I move that we approve the minutes from Tuesday, February 12th, as amended. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Binka?
Abstain.
Absent.
I was not here.
And Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next item is Chief O'Leary, one of those grants we just mentioned. I hope we've got it. Check in hand.
Not quite the check, but we do have the acceptance letter.
Aha, okay. Well, we'll find out how good that is, won't we?
Yes.
Well, this one's a state one, right?
The first one will be from the state, yes. And it's part of our ongoing efforts on battling youth crime and gang violence. For the last several years, we've partnered with Boston Police Department as participating members in the Shannon Grant Program. And this year, as we have done in the past, is we've been awarded $13,000 to help offset some of the cost on joint investigations, on warrant service follow-up, and for us, trying to combat crime of young people that cross our borders. So the state has seen to offer us $13,000 to assist us in our efforts, and the grant runs until the end of December of 2013. So I would ask that the board vote that we could use that money to offset some costs.
And do you want to describe the second one? We'll take the votes together.
The second one is from the state as well. This is from the Executive Office of Public Safety, and it's in the amount of $82,500. This is really something that we've applied for in the past, and fortunately this year we were successful on it. It's kind of an open grant where we will be more or less a test site for a lot of improvements on how data is gathered at the scene of motor vehicle stops and accident investigations. And the way I'd like to explain it is with this equipment, we can outfit a number of cruisers that will have capabilities of scanning driver's licenses to get information that will automatically be downloaded into an accident reporting form. We could scan information on a inspection sticker that information on that also will self-load onto an accident form that's in the cruisers. And eventually, we hope that the third phase will allow us to write our motor vehicle citations on the computer. That will automatically be sent to the registry. It will eliminate a lot of back office stuff that we currently do on our racial profiling statistics and things like that in the station. That is down the road. That's waiting for improvements from the state to have be made. But the first two, we hope to be able to roll out over the next several months. So with this $82,500, it'll give us hardware for the cruisers. It'll give us printers. It'll give us the scanning fobs that we have to get. And it'll also give us the software and some training for our officers.
Okay, questions for the chief?
No.
Well done, and I think we are seeing more and more moving our ability to collect information and to fill out forms into a technical, higher level of technology, no more handwritten, blurry, indecipherable,
Right.
things like that, right?
Takes care of a lot of those.
Okay, I will move that we accept the Shannon grant in the amount of $13,000 and a grant from the State Executive Office of Public Safety in the amount of $82,500 Shannon to be used for juvenile and young adult-related activity, and the state grant to be used for moving violations. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
We have now a list. Mr. Quigley, are you here with your colleagues? Are you Pierce and Modulars and high school?
I will be, Madam Chairman and members of the board, I will be addressing Pierce and Modulars. Mr. Masick will address the high school. Item
Okay. You have the podium.
E. Excuse me. The item C is the approval and execution of a contract for the Pierce School auditorium renovations in the amount of $994,000 to Contractors Network Incorporated. Recall the board awarded a contract to this firm last month, and this is the actual contract, which has been approved by the Building Commission and School Committee.
Okay, questions about the Pierce School contract? No? Okay, carry on. We'll just
Okay.
let you explain, then we'll take two votes.
Very well. The next item is a contract to Flansburgh Associates in a figure not to exceed $36,000 for modular classroom design at Lawrence and Baker schools. And this is basically through schematic design with cost estimates and a review of potential zoning issues and other code issues in an effort to help the town and the schools inform the decision as to how to address enrollment issues.
And as I understand it, there are good questions to be raised, and having consultants on board to help get the answers is a wise plan, right?
Yes, it indeed, and I think, modulars obviously are they're a fairly big deal in many respects.
Right.
And I think the town needs some good information in order to consider that. And this contract also has been already approved by the Building Commission and School Committee.
Selectman Goldstein?
Thanks. Can you just help me understand what's included in this contract? Is it the siting of the modular facilities, the connection of utilities, the foundation of them, all of the above?
All of the above and options there, and options with cost estimates. Because at Baker, there are two potential locations. Lawrence is only one location, but there are different configurations within all of those locations. And so it's all of the above and options and cost estimates.
Will there be options related to how these look from the exterior?
Yes.
There will.
Any other questions for Mr. Quigley? Okay, then I will move first that we approve and execute a contract for the Pierce School auditorium renovations in the amount of $994,000 with Contractors Network Incorporated of Rhode Island. And I'm going to make a second motion, and unless people object, we'll just vote them together. Anybody object? No? Then I also move that we approve and execute a contract for modular classrooms at the Lawrence and Baker schools in an amount not to exceed $36,000 to Flansburgh Associates of Boston. All in favor of those two motions, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Mr. Quigley. Mr. Masick? Humph.
Madam Chair, this is for a contract for an architect to do a space study at the high school. For, the architect is
I know.
HFMH.
We know them well, but it's just irresistible.
I think we should tell people that was the chairman's outcry was relating to the initials there, in case you're wondering.
Right. Sorry about that. HMFH Architects Incorporated.
Yes, in the amount of $50,000.
Any questions for Mr. Masick?
Yeah, I actually had a question that I had posed during the day, and that is how the possibility of potentially extending hours at the high school as a potential alternative would get folded into this study. And I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts on that, Ray?
I don't have any thoughts, but the school department does. And basically, the study is to really effectively and efficiently look at the use of the building and then come up with options for build-out, take all that, and then give that to the school department. And as part of the overall study, they can use those concepts to then think about a policy regarding the extension of hours at the high school. But they really need to see how best to use the high school and then look at the build-out options and then come up with policy statements.
So is HMFH looking at, when you say how best to use the high school, what is this study looking at build-out options, or is this study looking at reconfiguration, or
A little bit of both.
or reassignment of space within the high school to other uses? Is that part of this?
Minimal on the space planning and then looking at build-out options.
Selectman Goldstein?
If I can chime in, I chaired the committee of 7 on
Okay.
this, and one of let me take your first point first. One of the members of the HMFH team is their educational consultant, whose role would be to address the first things you talked about, which are, possibilities of extending days and shifts and, the kind of soft solutions to the problem.
Okay.
So that was definitely part of it too.
Okay.
One of the things that it impressed the committee of 7 about HMFH over the other finalists in the bid process was that they seem to encompass the full range of solutions here, including, potential new building space, but they really actually minimize that. And they had some ideas that we got free of charge from them at the Committee of 7 meeting that involved possible reuse of existing space in creative ways that
Good.
the committee of 7 at least, had some very favorable reaction to. So.
I can add to this that they also performed the concept study for the Devotion School project and are very familiar with our enrollment issues and have contributed helpful analysis to best use of existing space and how to create classrooms out of difficult situations. So,
Good.
Anyway, all right, then I move that we approve and execute a contract in the amount of $50,000 with HMFH Architects Incorporated for the high school concept study. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you, Mr. Masick. Next item is traffic signals. DPW, yes. Commissioner Pepper-Sturgeon, aren't you resting up from your snow plowing?
All rested, Madam Chairman, ready to go again.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
No, it's just rain from here on out.
I'm with you.
Can you give us an updated forecast, and is that a promise?
If I could do that, I wouldn't be here.
Okay.
These
Tell us
two-
about traffic signals,
These 2 items, and I'll talk to you about both of them.
please.
F and G. These are annual service contracts that we award on a multi-year basis. The first one, servicing traffic signals, is just what it says it is provide contractor assistance for repairing traffic signals, generally due to knockdowns. This particular contract was awarded in FY12. It's a 3-year contract. We are now in the 2nd year of that contract, and what we do is we write a purchase order for each year for the contract amount. On this particular contract, the bid was $64,640. However, we only have $40,000 budgeted for that line item as part of the DPW budget. So we write the purchase order for $40,000. The difference, the $24,640, we write as an extra work order, and that's coded to the Accident Recovery Fund. The town has an Accident Recovery Fund where if a signal is knocked down or a street light is knocked down, we go ahead and repair it using funds from the accident recovery account. And then when the monies are recovered from the insurance companies, that money is then put back into the revolving account. So this is purely accounting to move forward so that we can continue to process the payments on these.
Questions? Selectman Daley?
Yeah, when I first read this, I thought it might, we'd initially had a lot of sort of complaints about the timing of the lights on Beacon Street after we finished the Beacon Street project. And so this has nothing to do with changing timing, and I haven't heard any complaints lately, so has that all been adjusted so that,
We believe that we've got most of the bugs out of that. There are still, we still continue to go out and readjust the timing as needed, but I don't believe that we've received a lot of complaints lately either. But that's totally independent of this. This is purely for knockdowns and emergency repairs.
okay?
Selectman Goldstein?
Thank you. Does this company who's getting this contract, or who's already received this contract, actually, do they actually do the work? Do they design the work? Do they provide materials?
No, they actually do the work.
They
They
actually,
actually send crews out to do the repair work.
Then how do they do it from California?
Well, they have local. They have local.
Good.
but my follow-up to that was, I mean, we have, on DPW staff,
Yes, we do.
various signal people who are very well versed in how the signals work and how to repair them, and what's the difference between what these guys do and what we do in-house?
It's very much similar. This service, as you can see, the dollar amounts for this are extremely low. That's because it's meant to augment our own in-house services. For instance, on streetlight knockdowns, we don't have the ability to set poles, so we rely on this company to come out and reset the poles for us. In a lot of cases, if it's dealing with a Cobra head replacement or an arm, streetlight arm, we usually do that internally with our own DPW crews. Same thing for normal maintenance on traffic signals. We provide all that work in-house, but generally on a knockdown, 24-hour basis, we have these folks on call, and they respond.
I understand. Thank you.
Other questions? Okay, Commissioner, are you also going to tell us about the Chestnut Hill Square project?
I am not. I'm going to have my Director of Engineering.
Okay, and
Talk to you
just,
about that.
but I wanted to be sure then, there's one more item, I think, no, maybe not, that's it. Oh, emergency, yeah, there's emergency street light and fire alarm services. I just wanted,
Yes,
are you in
That's-
charge of those?
yes. I
Then
talked,
please, are we done?
yes.
Okay, all right, so we have in fact reviewed all of them. All right, then, thank you very much, Commissioner, and I'm going to move that we approve extra work order number 1 in connection with contract number PW/12-04, servicing traffic signals and related work in the amount of $24,640 for work to be performed by Republic Intelligent Transportation Services, Inc., and I am also moving to approve extra work order number 1 in connection with contract number PW11-01, emergency street light and fire alarm services in the amount of $14,500 for work to be performed by Republic Intelligent Transportation, Inc. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you. Mr. Ditto? Chestnut Hill Square.
Yes, good evening. There's two items before you tonight, the first of which is accepting a $50,000 check from the development of the Chestnut Hill Square project, which is actually in Newton. That money is wholly for the town of Brookline. It's not being shared with the city of Newton. And we anticipate using these funds to implement approved traffic safety improvement devices for the section of Heath Street from Hammond Pond Parkway to the town line. We will be looking to go out there probably late summer, early fall to collect some data. We anticipate that the anchor tenant, Wegmans, will be in the building at that time, and then we can get some true readings on what the impact on the traffic will be at that time. So we'll be visiting that site later in the year. The second request is approval of two agreements. The first one is with Mass DOT, and this is to construct and fund safety upgrades to the traffic signals at 3 locations in Brookline. First one being Tully Street at Boylston, second one, Hammond Street at Boylston, and the third one, East Street at Hammond Street. And now the second agreement is between the town of Brookline and the developer, Chestnut Hill Square. And that agreement is in turn for the developer to pick up the tab of these improvements. So this is actually a pass-through for the town. We will have no exposure financially or physically on this project.
Questions for Mr. Ditto? Ms. Daly?
Not really a question so much as that I worked on this over a number of years with our prior town administrator, really, I think. I don't know whether we kind of got this done before you got here, Mel.
Yes, you did.
But this is, I want to say thank you to Chestnut Hill Square, the developer, which is New England Development, and that we had some very concerned neighbors, even though this project is not in Brookline, it is right on the edge of Brookline, and they already have some very serious traffic concerns, and Peter just mentioned the areas where they're particularly concerned, and, you know, there's a lot of cut-through traffic from Route 9 coming off into their neighborhood. There's backups in the morning and in the evening at rush hour time and whatever. So the neighbors were very concerned, and in recognition of that, the New England Development agreed not to have a back entrance to this project and to give us this $50,000 to help start some traffic improvement stuff in this area. I will say, though, that I know that the seriousness and the extent of the issues that the neighbors brought to us, I think, is actually much bigger than a $50,000 problem, and I know that those people are going to continue to ask us to look at that area and see what we can do to help with their neighborhood traffic concerns.
Well, I can imagine, actually, that Mr. Ditto's suggestion about measuring impacts after the grocery store is operating and some of the other, active uses are in place, because it's hard to imagine yet exactly how that's going to be, although I know there was a supermarket there before, but this is going to be a very different configuration. So.
Yeah, I will say that I'm sure you've all noticed that they've widened the road in front of their development, which they always told us that they were intending to do. And I frankly am skeptical about how effective that's going to be. That was so people didn't cut off of Route 9 through the neighborhood. They were going to widen it there, but then it goes right back down to a bottleneck. So it seems to me that it's, we'll see how it works out. I'm a little skeptical that that's really the answer to the problems.
Other questions? Yes, Selectman Benka.
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of concern about this and about some of the terms of the contract. The intersection of Route 9 and Tully and Route 9 and Hammond are controlled by Mass DOT. And the intersection of Hammond and Heath is controlled by the town, but under the agreement, the timing changes to the state-owned intersection are decided by DOT. They provide that to the town. And according to this, system operation shall be prioritized to minimize congestion on Route 9. And that's great for people driving in from Wellesley and coming in from 128 to Boston. I'm wondering what that means for people from South Brookline trying to get across to North Brookline, or people, or to, going toward BC along Hammond Street, or people trying to get across Route 9 coming from the south. And I wonder if you have any comment about that, or how we control that, or how we control Mass DOT. Clearly, they want to move traffic through Route 9, and and what really concerns me is that this says explicitly, system operation shall be prioritized to maintain, to minimize congestion on Route 9, without really any reference to the implications for Hammond Street.
Yes, first of all three intersections are controlled by one controller. They're all interconnected, so for the intersection of Heath and Hammond, that's controlled by a master controller right at the Gulf Station. Likewise, Tully and Boylston is controlled out of that same controller. That being said, anytime we tweak our lights at Heath and Hammond, as we did in 2010, we were requested to look at it. We had a study done. We presented the study to Mass DOT for their approval, and they subsequently reviewed it, came back and say, fine, you can make the improvements on your section of the lights. Anticipating a question, something similar to that, I looked at the study, the actual traffic study that was conducted both by the town and by the developer. And their final conclusions specific to the Heath and Hammond Street intersection, which overall operates at a level of service of C. To give you an idea what the range is, it starts off at A, which is the best, and it drops down to an F, which is failure, if you will. So the existing conditions that were done both by the town and the developer, the developer in 2009 and the town in 2010, both determined that the level of service at Heath and Hammond was the level C on the average. Granted, in the peak hour heading north, it probably drops down to a level D. But jumping back to the consultant report for the developer, he determined that the signalized intersections were shown to remain a level of C during both weekday and morning, even peak hours, as a result of the increased traffic from that development. So they responded to that, and I don't disagree with their results. So I don't think you'll see any change with the traffic at that intersection. However, I think you will see a change at the Boylston and Hammond Street. And it actually says in this report here that it's going to stay the same, which is a level F on Route 9.
So what does it mean to say system operation shall be prioritized to minimize congestion on Route 9? What is, because Mass DOT controls the Route 9 intersections, and under this, timing changes to the town-owned intersection, which is the Heath and Hammond, has to be provided to Mass DOT to review. I'm just wondering what the implications of this is for Brookline residents trying to get across Route 9 as opposed to, you know,
Right.
as I said, people from Wellesley trying to get into Boston, or people from Wellesley trying to get out of Boston to Wellesley.
Well, I can tell you one part of that, as I said, a major concern for our residents was people cutting off on Tully Street because Route 9 was backed up. So they would cut off and go into the neighborhood instead of staying on Route 9.
Okay.
And that was a big area of concern for our people who felt like their, what should be fairly quiet residential area was getting a lot of more traffic than it should. And the developer was responding that, well, if we can get Route 9 flowing a little more smoothly, you'll have fewer people cutting off. I do know that one former selectman told me that he was still going to cut off because it was the quickest way to his house. So I don't know whether this will work or not. And as you say, the people also have concerns about getting across Route 9, getting out from their homes in kind of a separate issue. But so there's a couple of very serious concerns on their part. Other people coming in to the neighborhood, them trying to get out of the neighborhood, were two kind of separate major concerns that we heard from people.
Do we have any idea what the, thank you, Nancy, do we have any idea what the changes are going to be with respect to the signals on Route 9 and Tully, Route 9 on Hammond and
Yes.
and Heath and Hammond?
Yes.
What?
As far as pre and post development, For instance, Route 9 at Tully Street, it says, with the implementation of the optimum traffic signal timing, phasing, and coordination plan is with this project, overall operating conditions at this signalized intersection was shown to remain at level of service B. That's Tully and Route 9, and you would expect that to be a high level of service because it doesn't have that much intersecting traffic.
Right.
For the Route 9 at Hammond Street, it says, same startup, and it says, we're shown to remain level of service F during both the weekday morning and evening peak hours, and a level of service E during the Saturday midday peak hour.
That's the Route 9?
That's the Route 9 intersection.
What about
So
the
they're
crossing?
actually,
Peter, what about the crossing, the Hammond Street cross traffic? Do they apprise?
yeah, you're
is it
getting kind of
appraised what
technical, but let me see if I have that with me.
Mr. Ditto, assuming we vote this contract, will there be an opportunity for you to come back to us and give us an update after you've had a chance to assess the actual conditions?
Sure, I can do that.
Maybe
I
Selectman
might add-
Benka, that would help?
Yeah, well, let me just ask, if we approve this, is this out of our hands and in control of Mass DOT?
I might add, we already have one of these in place. This is just a modification of the existing agreement that we had to sign with Mass DOT to actually coordinate our traffic signal at Heath and Hammond on
Right.
Route 9.
Right.
So this is just a modification of an existing agreement that we have.
Right, but does the town have the right to approve any changes once we sign this agreement?
Does the town have any right? I'm not sure I
I'm
understand.
not sure we have it now,
No, we do,
because
Well-
we have an agreement.
title of these intersections is going over to Mass DOT, or
Yeah.
is already there, but it's.
Well, yeah, and I don't know whether they now have control or review of any changes on Hammond and Heath, but that certainly is explicit here.
Do you want to hold this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to hold it just for the sake of holding it. I'm just wondering if there's any more information that we can glean that will give some comfort to the fact that this isn't going to
It's not gonna make-
prejudice Brookline residents.
Right. If
for-
anything, it's more detrimental to Route 9, Mass DOT signal.
Well, I know the development is, but I'm just,
Yeah, no, this is right, site-specific to Boylston at Hammond. So all right, this is the level of service. Existing conditions right now is Route 9 eastbound is a level of E. Route 9 westbound, level F. Then Hammond Street southbound is a level E. And then Hammond Street northbound was a level F. So the whole intersection is almost in failure
okay.
to begin with.
Is there,
I can give you a copy of the traffic report, the synopsis of it.
would there be a problem with holding this for a week?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would like to certainly accept the $50,000 from
Oh, I'm
Chestnut Hill
all, yeah,
Square.
no, I agree. That's,
I know those neighbors there have been very impatient at the length of time it's taken for us to get around to doing some traffic calming or traffic adjustment that they have been asking for many years now.
I completely agree with that. That's the first question of accepting the check, which really goes to the portion of Heath between the town line and Hammond Pond Parkway. I agree. I would not hold that. What I'm concerned about is this agreement that gives priority to traffic on Route 9, and I'm wondering if we could, or if I could get a little bit of assurance as to what the implications of that would be for the cross-traffic, if possible, and the cross-traffic, I think, is probably primarily Brookline traffic, or largely.
Sure.
Okay, good.
Okay, then I move that we accept a check in the amount of $50,000 from the developer of Chestnut Hill Square project to be used for traffic control. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye,
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and we will hold the agreement.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ditto.
Thank you.
Next item is a consulting contract for the Waldo Garage Study Committee. Don't believe there's anyone here to speak for it. It's involves a scope of work to do a feasibility analysis for possible development on the site. Any questions from any members of the board?
No question.
I would just add that, as people may have heard, Chestnut Hill Realty has acquired the Durgan Garage. This agreement with the consultant is flexible and allows the Waldo Durgan Committee to redefine the scope of work or to terminate the contract if it turns out that there is that certain options are foreclosed or not foreclosed. But it provides flexibility for the town. The consultant is Pam McKinney, which the Red Cab Committee, who the Red Cab Committee used in connection with its work, and she was absolutely terrific. And this is really short money of under $5,000.
Thank you, Selectman Benka. I move that we approve and execute a contract for consultant services for the Waldo Garage Study Committee in the amount of $4,990 with Byrne McKinney and Associates of Boston. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And now I'm going to move items J, K, and L. I move that we grant a temporary all-kinds alcoholic beverage license to the Lars Anderson Auto Museum in connection with events to be held on March 3rd, March 7th, and March 9th. I move that we grant a temporary wine and malt beverage license to the Driscoll PTO in connection with an improv night on February 28th. And I move that we grant a temporary wine and malt beverage license to the Lincoln School PTO in connection with a trivia night to be held on March 9th. All in favor of those three items, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And now we have two requests to approve alternate managers. Is there anyone here representing Gen Key Incorporated? Is there anyone here representing Zafstigs? Okay, then I will move that we approve the application of Gen Key for the appointment of the following as alternate managers: Hugh D. Chen and Zax Zhao Dong. And I also move that we approve the application of Zaftigs Incorporated, holder of a wine and malt beverage license, for the following alternate managers: Harvey Greenhut, Nicholas Mantuano, Michael Mitchell, and Lynn Hubert. All in favor of those two items, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next item is the chief again. We have a vacancy in the emergency dispatchers.
Again.
Again, yes. I know I was here a little over a month ago to ask for the filling of one when one of our dispatchers resigned and went to the Mass General, and a couple of weeks ago...
But not for illness.
Not for illness, no, for career change.
Right.
And then, effective this past Monday, another dispatcher decided to resign. She also is having a career change, where she's leaving the country to teach elsewhere, and she's leaving the country in April to go ahead and do that. So it's a bad thing that we have two vacancies as of now. It's a good thing that we were already in the process of hiring that first one. We're right now in the examination stage of the candidates, and we hope to get, we have a good group of about 15 that we're giving examinations to, and we hope to get two quality candidates out of that if the board approves the hiring of this additional one.
Okay, questions for the chief? I think we all definitely believe you should hire all the emergency dispatchers that you need, and particularly you should fill these 2 vacancies. So I move that we authorize filling a vacancy in the position of E911 dispatcher in the police department. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And now we get to something that's much more cheerful and pleasant for us. We have 2 student officers
Yes.
who are ready. So I give you the podium, Chief.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce 2 student officers sitting in the front row, and my far left is Oscar Santos, and beside him is Brian Bridges. But just to tell you a little bit about these 2 gentlemen, they started this process a long time ago. Almost 2 years ago, they had their entrance exam to take. And then, right after we got the results of the entrance exam, the board authorized to go ahead and hire 10 vacancies that we had. As you know, in the end of November, beginning of December, you swore in 7 of those eventual 9 candidates. And these 2 gentlemen were in a separate academy where it required them to live away from their families during the weeks and maybe some of the weekends of a 21-week academy. They attended the State Police Academy out in New Braintree, and believe me, it was a haul to get out there. I know when I drove out for the graduation, kind of thought we got lost in those backwoods there somewhere, but we eventually took the right turn and got there. But these 2 gentlemen really sacrificed a lot going out there. They left their wives, their families, and they did it with a smile, and they did it with a lot of courage, and they went through a lot. They're not kids. Like I said, their lives were well underway, and they had to go through a grueling 21 weeks. They lived in a dorm. They received all sorts of training. I went out there at the end, and I met with the training instructors. We had stayed in touch with them. We had some of our officers that went out to conduct training with them. And our Lieutenant Harrington, who's here tonight, had stayed in touch with the academy director to make sure that they were on the correct path, which they were. So they have achieved a lot over the past several weeks. On their graduation on February 15th, they've been working inside, learning our policies and procedures, our computer system, our CAD system. They've had some training and met the officers for the past week and a half. If everything goes well tonight, they look to get their training assignments starting Thursday, where they'll go out on the road with a training officer for at least 8 weeks. And that brings us to a little bit about them. Oscar Santos is 28 years old. He came to this country from Honduras. He's a graduate of Chelsea High School, and when we hired him, he was working for an IT company. Unfortunately, decided to change careers and come with us. He lives with his wife, Ishira, and their family in Brookline. Brian Bridges is 39 years old. He's a graduate of Milton High School. After he graduated from high school, a few years after he graduated from high school, he earned an associate's degree in applied science from Massasoit Community College in 2006. And for a number of years, he's been working for Verizon Communications, and he's decided to make a career change. He also lives with his wife, Brenda, their 2 children here in Brookline. I'd just like to say that when we go to hire, you know that there are a lot of times you will give us an authorization to hire a certain number of recruit officers. A lot of times we don't meet that number. And we don't meet that number because of the standards that we want them to meet. We feel that you can train a person to become a police officer, and you can train a person how to interpret and do the law, but you really can't teach a lot of the intangibles, like a person's integrity, a person's personality, what a person will do when he or she is alone and has to make a decision. And that's really what we try to base our hiring on. It's people that make an impression in those areas, because we know that we can train them, we know that we stay with them throughout their careers, but there's a lot of things that we look for before we ask somebody to put on a police uniform. And these 2 gentlemen here reflect exactly that. They stuck with us through a lengthy process. They were given a lot of background checks by us. They went through a lot of examinations by the department and the town. And hopefully they can smile in about 5 minutes from now when their wives pin their badges on them and we get them sworn in as police officers. But I'm very happy that they joined us. I'm very happy that we were able to hire 9 out of 10 of the positions that you authorized us to fill. I think we have a really good group of people, these 9 that have come off of this exam. I think they're going to put Brookline in a really good position as we go forward in our years, and I look forward to working with them over the next several years. So, Brian Bridges and Oscar Santos.
Well, thank you very much, Chief, and we really appreciate the time and effort and thought that goes into both recruiting and hiring our new officers. We know that the families of our officers are a very strong part of their support system, and we want to support the families because we know that when your husband or father or son or daughter sometimes is out there taking care of our community and keeping us safe, that your family is basically also making a gift to the town. So we really do appreciate that. Comments, members? Selectman Daley?
Yeah, I just want to say, we think we have just about the best police force in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So you look like great candidates, but I think you're lucky to be joining the town of Brookline also. And we welcome you. I want to say, I recently was at a community meeting with the chief in North Brookline, and I was mentioning to people there that we've had a number of cases where people have been committing crimes in 2 or 3 other communities around here, and when they start in Brookline, that's when they get caught. So we hope you'll keep up the good standards, and thank you very much and congratulations.
Selectman Goldstein?
Thanks. I want to say that the chief's recommendation is the highest recommendation you can have. And if you're good enough for Chief O'Leary, you are certainly good enough for the rest of us. But I do want to point out one thing both of you share, and that is you're both Brookline residents. And I think that is a really important thing and a great characteristic for not just our police officers, but our fire officers, our DPW workers, or anybody who works for this town and also wants to live here. Shows a dedication and a commitment to the town that we think we can expect you to live up to. And I really appreciate that you've chose to make your homes here and to devote your life work to it. Thank you to your families, but thank you both to you for that as well.
Yes.
Selectman Benka?
Thank you. Congratulations to both of you, and thanks to both of you. And also, as the other selectmen have said, our gratitude to your families as well. That for you to be police officers in the town or in any community is certainly a sacrifice on the part of your families, and it is one that is greatly appreciated. So thank you, and welcome to the town.
Okay, gonna do some pins?
Well,
Sure,
we have
but
to
we'd like
vote.
to see
Take
if
a
we
vote.
can
Yes.
make it effective as of today, the 26th.
Okay, fine. Then I move that we approve what's the language here? Sorry, folks. Appoint the following student officers as probationary police officers to be effective today, February 26th, 2013, for a 12-month period. Oscar Santos and Brian Bridges. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Done.
If I could I ask Town Clerk Pat Ward to come down and swear these officers in, and then their wives continue?
I believe I see him. Mr. Ward?
I need you.
We dragged him out of the advisory committee to come
Ah.
here.
I'm sure he's pleased.
Thanks to the town administrator's kind actions. Raise your right hand, please. And I'm just going to this my name is Matt, it's like I all treat me partners. And I'm also treat me boys. And that he says, I, please state your name. I, Brian Bridges. I, Oscar Santos. Do solemnly swear or affirm. Do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will faithfully and impartially. That I will faithfully and impartially. Discharge all the duties incumbent upon me. Discharge all the duties incumbent upon me. As a police officer for the town of Brookline. As a police officer for the town of Brookline. According to the best of my ability and understanding. According to the best of my ability and understanding. Agreeably to the rules and regulations of the Constitution. laws of the Commonwealth. And the rules, regulations, and bylaws. Made under authority thereon. Congratulations.
All of you, one at a time, with the chief, whatever you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Okay. Next item is a common victular change in manager. Is there someone present from Zen 320? If you'd come up to the microphone, please. And would you mind identifying yourself for us by speaking into the microphone so our recorder will get your name?
Sure. My name is Diane Kim, and my mom is Un Kim, and we run
Is she the person who's going to be the alternate manager?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Would you like her to come up?
Would you mind asking her to come up? Okay, one of the questions that I have for you is that we know that you were without an appropriately appointed manager, and I would like you to explain to me how that came about, and if you understand that you must have an appointed manager on the premises at all times that the restaurant is open?
Yes. The restaurant was opened over 10 years ago, and at that point, my great-aunt was the owner of the restaurant, but she's now very advanced in age and has since moved to Hawaii. And so we're seeking approval to name myself the manager of the restaurant and my mom as the alternate manager of the restaurant.
Okay, and from the information you gave us, I gather that you personally have another job that you,
Yes, but I'm employed on a part-time basis, so I only work 20 hours a week, and I have a lot of flexibility, and I work remotely very often.
okay,
So I can be on the premise the minimum 40 hours required, and the alternate manager is available to be on the premise a minimum of 60 hours a week.
okay, and you both understand the requirements for record keeping and that sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. and Ms. Kim from members of the board?
Yeah, I think
We're
I
gonna
know
see
you
them
guys
later.
have a violation, so we're
Yeah.
going to be talking some about this later, but I will ask you, Diane, because you weren't involved in the
Right.
violation. And we have a lot of students in Brookline,
Yes.
and many people who are maybe underage, and we take this very seriously, that the liquor laws need to be followed, and people need to be asked for identification, and that identification needs to be checked and so forth. So I see you are Safe Serve or TIPS or something certified?
Yes,
Safe
everybody in the management of the restaurant is Serve Safe certified.
Okay.
And we also do implement a lot of training at the restaurant for all the servers. There are only 2 servers at the restaurant, and they're both trained.
Okay.
Any other questions for the Mrs. Kim? Seeing none, I move that we approve the application for appointment of for a change in manager, for the manager of record to be Diane Kim, and also for the alternate manager to be Kyun
It's In Kyung Kim.
Kim. Sorry about that, I apologize. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, next one is to change managers at the Meat House, a somewhat different operation. We have someone representing the Meat House here. Now, please identify yourself for the record.
My name is Christopher Gacosta,
Mhm.
and I also have my alternate manager, Robert Hill.
Okay. So you understand the requirements that you have as a manager with the license to sell alcoholic beverages. We expect there to be a manager of record on the premises at all times?
Correct.
Okay. Questions? Selectman Daley?
Well, you heard what I just said to Ms. Kim, but, so you're familiar with the requirements as to asking for identification and checking that identification to make sure it's appropriate?
Yes.
Okay.
And they are safe service certified? Any other questions then? No?
No questions.
Then I move that we approve the appointment of a change in manager from Christopher Hogan to Christopher Gacosta as manager and to appoint Robert Hill as alternate manager. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Next item is an application for a change of manager at Cow Sarn.
evening.
Good evening. And please identify yourself for the record.
Yes, my name is Natita Aramtip.
Okay. And you are the new you're the person who will become the manager, is that correct?
Yes.
And I understand that you are going to be the, how many hours per week do you intend to be on the premises?
40 hours.
Okay, fine. And you are not asking for you're not asking for an alternate manager at this time. Are you aware that we have alternate managers?
Sorry, currently she's actually alternative manager, so we changed it to permanent, and I'm her sister. It's a family business. I'm intend to.
Can you talk into the mic? Sorry.
Yes, I'm intend to apply that maybe sometime later. As far
Okay.
as alternative.
You understand why we recommend this? Because that means that it's easier for you to be always in compliance with the regulations, and it means that the manager sometimes needs to get away, and you need to have a person on the premises who's legally responsible. And that's why we encourage you to consider having alternate managers.
Yes, I would talk to Brenda and file that
Okay,
right away.
all right. Okay, so you know that it's a good thing to do. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's beneficial to you.
Yes, we didn't realize that it could
Okay.
be happening all at once. That's why we didn't.
Okay. Selectman Daley, would you like to ask your question?
Yes, well, so I see you've actually been involved with this restaurant for some time, but I think you had a job in the financial industry or something? Is
Yes,
that
I
right?
just quit last year and then pursuing the family restaurant business.
Okay, so, and you've had a bartending course, I know, and you're tip certified or safe certified?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So, as I mentioned earlier to the others, we do have many students in Brookline. We did not used to do stings at restaurants, we just did them at the package stores, but now we've expanded that to restaurants. So we do check. We expect people to be very conscientious about asking for identification and checking that identification when they...
Absolutely.
And we did this past sting operation, and she's just graduated from Le Cordon Bleu, so we taking the restaurant at the full force now, both of us.
Okay,
Good.
very good.
Very serious.
All right, any other questions?
question.
Selectman Goldstein?
Are you aware of, we have a requirement that a logbook be kept at all our licensed establishments. Are you aware of that requirement and what goes in the logbook?
Absolutely. We have the plan and policy at the restaurant at all time. We have the incident report available if anything's happened.
And you know that you're supposed to keep a record of all your servers and their certifications, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so if we went there today, we would find that logbook. Right.
Absolutely.
And it's up to date. We've got passed by November as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, exemplary, good answers. Therefore, if there are no other questions, I move that we, whoops, wait a minute, wrong page. Sorry, folks. Make sure I'm on the right place. I move that we approve the application of Kausarn, holder of an all kinds alcoholic beverage license for a change in manager from Kiriyoshi Hakamoto to Natita Aramtip.
Yes.
Good. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
very much.
Next, we have a change of hours from the MJ Ready. Mr. Brown, I believe. So you're increasing your hours to add Mondays.
Yes, we'd like to add Monday. We usually do our shopping on Monday, but when we get back, we check the phone, and there's multiple calls from customers looking for food. So we would like to test the water and see what we could do on that day.
Is the winter market not also having some kind of sales during the week now?
They are doing Sundays only now.
Only Sundays?
They did a trial period in January on Mondays, and that was scrapped.
Ah, okay. So they're just open on Sunday, but you're open on Sunday too.
Yes, we are.
So people who come to the winter market will also be able to have something at your place.
They do.
Good.
Our Sunday sales are up 80%.
Very nice to hear that. Okay, do we have any questions for Mr. Brown?
No question.
I think this is not controversial.
No, it's not controversial, but I'm looking at the hours to include Monday hours as follows, and we have Monday to Thursday and then Friday and Saturday. And you said you're also open on Sunday?
Yeah, they're all listed on the
Okay.
application page.
Right, but I'm looking at the calendar.
No, page 11-2 is what you want to be looking at.
Yeah. I just want to get the vote right, because the calendar would not have it.
He's correct that the Sunday hours are not listed on the calendar, but we can add them.
But they already had them, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, the only change is the Monday, addition of Monday.
Monday to Thursday,
The others are unchanged.
12 to 9.
Well, actually, yes.
So, just to pin this down, Monday to Thursday, it's 11 to 9.
Yes.
For liquor also, 11 to?
No.
12 to 9 for
liquor's
liquor.
12 to 9.
Friday and Saturday, 11 to 10.
Yes,
12 to 10 for liquor.
that's correct.
And Sunday would be the same as Monday to Thursday. So I think we can correct this just by changing Monday to Sunday on the vote. Sunday would be 11 to 9, and then 12 to 9 for the
Right.
liquor.
Right.
Okay, good. So
Okay, so
Chairman
when we
DeWitt, if
do
we
the
just-
vote, we'll have Sunday through Thursday and Friday
Exactly.
and Saturday. Okay,
Exactly.
all right.
Good.
Thank you for catching that, Selectman Benka. I move that we approve the application of the MJ Reddy, holder of a wine and malt beverage license at 318 Harvard Street for an increase in hours to include Monday hours, the new hours to be as follows: Sunday through Thursday for food, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., for beverages, noon to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. for food, and
11 to 10.
11 to 10 p.m. for food, and noon to 10 p.m. for beverages. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is Barcelona Brookline wishes to add a guitar player. It'd be nice if you would have a little sample for us.
I wish I played. My name's Scott Lawton, and yeah, we were hoping to start doing some live music during the day when we open for brunch, flamenco guitar or jazz, two-piece, nothing loud, nothing outside, inside. It'd be at the same volume as what we do with our taped music now.
Okay, it's actually, the application we have, you said brunch, so I want to be clear about this. What I see on the application begins from 6 p.m. So if you're considering music at brunch, I don't think.
Well, brunch was one consideration. We also, sometimes on Thursdays, we'll have the jazz, and then
Yeah.
Saturdays is often when we would do the flamenco guitar, but
Okay, so what we're being asked to consider, just so that you understand, is to approve Thursday through Sunday from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. If you want us to increase this to include Sunday, I think you probably need to say so.
if I can do that now, that would be great.
I mean, sorry, it's Thursday through Sunday from 6 p.m. If you want to include brunch, I misspoke. We'd have to give you Sunday hours beginning earlier than 6 p.m. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I would like to do that if
Sunday
possible.
brunch.
Absolutely.
Okay, then you need to tell me, I don't know if we have your Sunday hours on our application.
Currently, we're open for dinner only, but we plan on opening for brunch.
On Sunday, all right, let's be careful about this. On Sunday, you're allowed to be open by state statute at noon
Right.
for alcoholic beverages, but there's also the possibility of an extension to 10 a.m. if you want to be, but you have to apply for that separately.
I'll have to double check, but I think we still open at noon for brunch.
Okay,
It's
all
not,
right,
it's not an
so-
early brunch, so
okay,
12
fine.
o'clock, I
So-
think it'll be fine for us.
Okay, so in order for you to be approved for the entertainment on Sunday, we could say 10 a.m. on Sunday.
Okay.
All right, or noon on Sunday. You
Yeah,
said
noon.
All right,
Noon
noon
is
on
fine.
Sunday.
Just trying to get ready for the patio.
All right, and your evening, the other days, the evening time from 6 to 9:30 is still appropriate?
Yes.
It's the end hour on Sunday, that's till 9:30.
He said, well, they've applied till 9:30, so. All right, so I will move that we, sorry? Selectman
there's-
Benko.
Thank you. As I understand it, there's also a change, or is this pre-existing, essentially now 7 days, Monday to Sunday radio?
I think that was
Is that
I think that
all-
was pre-existing. That's
That's
been our,
pre-existing.
that's the
Yeah.
way we opened with our license.
Okay, so you're just asking Thursday to,
We're going to
Thursday,
do
Friday, and Saturday, 6
6
to
to
9:30
9:30 and
PM,
Sunday, noon to
Sunday,
And
9:30.
12 to
Sunday for
9:30.
brunch, we might have some
Gotcha.
live entertainment during the day.
Okay, good.
Okay, let's try to do it again. All right, I move that we approve the application of Barcelona Brookline, holder of an all kinds alcoholic beverage license at 1700 Beacon Street for an increase in entertainment to include Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., and on Sunday from noon until 9:30 p.m. for instrumental music. All in favor, please, whoops.
And I'm just wondering, are we still pushing the DJ to play CDs?
We would like to do that at some point. That's not what we're applying for at this point, though.
Okay, that,
What was on your application?
Oh, is it on the application
Yeah.
right now? Yeah, we were hoping to do DJs on Thursday and Friday nights.
Well, they already had taped music.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
It's not something
kind
where
of
we're,
need to update this form because nobody uses tape anymore. So,
Right.
so that's the CD. Item 7 on your application says floor show DJ to play.
That
it's
would be
essentially
a
a guy
different
comes in
something.
with a turntable
That's-
and plugs into the stereo system. We don't actually bring in speakers or anything like that. It's more of a, just playing selected songs that people want to hear.
sort of like a human jukebox.
Sort of, exactly. Yeah, it's not we're still a dinner restaurant, and we're not looking to alienate our dinner crowd in any way. It's just kind of part of the vibe at the bar.
I think floor show is probably not.
The wrong,
Yeah.
probably the wrong way to.
Fell out there, and I would leave it at the tape music.
Or the DJ, well, the
Well,
DJ.
we're only currently voting instrumental music and DJ to play CDs, so presumably that's all we're giving
I
permission.
wouldn't call that a floor show.
No.
I mean, if I paid for a floor show and I got a DJ.
No, it's
You
just a
want
guy
more, huh?
standing there like that.
Okay, all right, let's try this one. I move that we approve the application of Barcelona Brookline at 1700 Beacon Street for an increase in entertainment to include the following hours: Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 6 p.m. to 9:30, and Sunday, noon until 9:30, for instrumental music and a DJ to play CDs. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
You
Thank you very much.
need to get a DJ with some moves, you know,
With
some dance moves. if
And well,
you're
they don't have
gonna
to
make
come back
this
for a floor show permit.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck. Next item is U-Burger, J.C. Kingfish. Are you Mr. Chen?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And you are asking for a common victular license, but this is a transfer, is it not?
Technically, there's no
I
transfer.
guess there's not a transfer. Okay. So this will be a seamless transfer, continuing operation. U-Burger will be U-Burger.
Correct.
And you don't contemplate any changes?
Nope.
On the premises?
Nope.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Chen?
Well, tell us about U-Burger, please.
It's a fast food restaurant serving fresh-made burgers daily, along with fries, chicken sandwiches, fraps. The burgers are made fresh daily, so if you haven't been, your folks are more than welcome to come in and try it.
Thank you. You aware of our trans fat ban in Brookline?
Yes, everything is no trans fats.
No trans fats, good.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr.
Are the
Chairman?
hours of operation staying the same as they
Correct.
were
Yes.
previously?
Correct.
All right, I move that we approve the application of, it is J.C. Kingfish, isn't it?
Correct.
The way it's written on our document, it looks like chicken's fish. Sort of odd. Doing business as U-Burger, holder for a common victular license at 1022 Commonwealth Avenue. Also, I move that we approve an entertainment license to include radio, TV, music, and taped music. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, just going back to number 12, the last application
Yep.
for Barcelona Brookline.
Yep.
I would just want to make sure that the Monday to Sunday vote includes both radio and taped music, which is
I
what
think those were
was
already
asked.
approved.
Well, I'm,
No?
The way it's written.
No?
yeah, I mean, it says radio in the vote, but I'm just looking at their application, it was taped music also.
I think they previously had radio, though.
Oh,
And they had previously had radio.
They had-
yeah, I think
well,
they did have,
I think actually they previously had taped music, and I think they're adding radio, Monday to
Okay.
Sunday. So could I just move to reconsider that we amend the vote to make clear that in addition to the instrumental music during the hours that we voted, that Monday to Sunday, we have authorized both radio and taped music.
all right, first, on the motion to reconsider, all in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And on Selectman Benka's motion, all in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is yogurt. Iceberry.
Next three items.
Mhm. Yes, yes. Yes. Right, I got it, I made it out.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Gwen Ho, and this is Sung Bi Ta.
Okay.
I will be the manager of the place, and he is the owner of the place.
And this is going to be, as I understand, you have to renovate the space in
Yes.
order to establish this,
Frozen yogurt
is it
business.
do-it-yourself yogurt? Is this one where you have the yogurt is out with toppings and people prepare it
Yes.
themselves?
Yes, they
Partially.
They will be able to pick what toppings they like,
Yeah.
what flavors of yogurt they like.
Right. Okay.
And then they pay by weight?
Yes, made by
I know
ounces.
that always killed me, because everything looks so good, and then
Yep.
you have to reckon at the end.
We have to pick what size of cup we do, because the bigger the cup, the bigger the eyes, you
Yeah.
know?
That's
On
right.
the other hand, probably it's one place where the food you get, you pay for and you know what you got, which is not always true. I mean, I'm not criticizing, I'm just simply saying, what comes on the plate, you'll never measure in quite the same way.
Yeah.
So, any questions about this common victular license for Iceberry with multiple flavors of yogurt and toppings?
Well, again, you're aware of our trans fat ban in Brooklyn?
Yes, we have zero trans fat policy also in our store. Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Then, I want to be sure that you understand the number of seats that have been approved for your premises is 15?
Yes.
I know you corrected your application, but originally,
Yes, we
I
did.
think it was for 20, right?
Yes, we have corrected. it.
Okay, but you understand that we're only allowed to approve up to 15?
Yes.
Okay, then I believe we have, I had maybe one question.
Is this a franchise, or is this your,
No.
this
it
your
is not.
first one?
Yes.
And only one?
It is our first and only one.
And just because I couldn't quite make out the writing on the application, and I wanted to be sure we do this properly, It's Monday through Thursday, you want to open at 1 PM or 2 PM?
Monday through Thursday. It was 1 PM.
1
I
PM?
believe.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I move that we approve the application of Sun Bita, owner of Iceberry, for a common victular and entertainment license at 1376A Beacon Street, hours of operation to be Monday through Thursday, 1 PM to 11 PM, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Friday from noon until 11 PM, and Saturday and Sunday from 11 AM until 11 PM. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you, good luck.
All right, next yogurt is Yogurt Land.
Are these right near each other?
Not, well, yeah, they're close enough.
Good evening.
And there's
Seems to be
another
a
one.
trend here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Midwinter yogurt? I always thought yogurt was, well, we'll see. Very healthy. In this case, I have a question for you three gentlemen. Who will actually physically be in charge of the premises in Brookline?
My name's Anthony Parinello. I'm a franchisee here in New England for Yogurtland. I live out in Stowe, but I've been helping them because I'm kind of feet on the ground, so to speak. The person, the manager in charge of the store, our operations manager, was in town about 2 weeks ago, and he met with Robin of the Department of the Health Department here.
Yep.
So Tony Ozelos to my left is the real estate director for the East Coast for Yogurtland. He is a full-time employee, and Greg Stoller to his left is the landlord. But none of us here will be, in a sense, responsible for the store or the premise at this point.
When do
Well,
you
except for
intend-
Greg as the landlord.
When do you expect to open?
Right after we get all necessary approvals, it'll take us approximately 6 weeks for construction. It's our intent to hire locally, hopefully a Brookline resident, to manage the store.
Well, I will say, normally for a common victular, we don't approve the manager, but we sure do like to know that there is going to be a person physically on the premises, and landlord, we do not expect to be running the operation, and neither of you anticipate running it. So at the point at which you're ready to open, I think it would be helpful for you to inform us that you've hired someone to be in
absolutely.
charge.
Yes.
Surely.
Okay.
Yeah, there will be a full-time, obviously, manager.
Obviously, there will be, but we'd
Yes.
just like to know who it is.
Understood.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And it sounds like you're going to be doing pretty much what the Iceberry people are doing, the similar sort of thing where you do-it-yourself toppings?
Yes. We actually, Yogurtland started back in 2006, and the owner and founder, Philip Chang, he actually invented the self-serve model, so to speak, out in Irvine, California. And there is a lot of action, in Brookline and other, local towns relative to the penetration of yogurt stores. And my business partner and I started about a year ago starting with 8 different franchises, and we decided to put up our money for Yogurtland because we believe that they're really going to, it's a very successful franchise. So while we're similar to others in terms of the self-serve model, when you get down to the nuts and bolts, it's actually quite different.
Like
I wonder who's
yogurt?
better.
I think it's much better if you had it. I don't know if you guys are, if you're coffee people and you have Starbucks or Pete's
Okay,
to something.
I was being facetious.
Yeah,
with
no,
that
it really
question.
is. They use, the big thing is their catch line is, one of them is get real. So they actually use, for example, real pistachio butter versus artificial flavors to make it taste like pistachio. So it's more substance than flash.
So is this one also where I'm going to have to watch out how much I put in? I'll have to make
Yes.
sure I take a small cup just to discipline myself?
Right.
Well, it is an all-natural product with no additives or preservatives, so even if you were to, it's still healthy for you.
All right, fair enough.
Sure. Other questions about Yogurtland?
No trans fats in your products?
Right.
None at all.
Okay, then I move that we approve the application of Yogurtland doing business as, and this will be named Yogurtland, that's the name that will be on the
Yes.
Yes,
sign?
that is correct. It's a
Okay.
corporate store for us.
All right, so it will be Yogurtland, operating Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. until midnight, and on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., with a common victular license at 273 Harvard Street. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Let the
Thank you.
yogurt
Good luck.
wars begin.
Yes.
Yes, right. Keep those pistachios fresh, and mango. I like mango.
Promise.
Thank you.
Okay, next is a public hearing for which we need town council.
Good evening, Jennifer Gilbert, Town Council. Tonight, I'm going to be presenting two liquor violation cases. The Chief of Police, Mr. O'Leary, is here, and we have a recommendation. We have the owners present. You've already heard from Zen 320 on adding an alternate manager, and the first case I'd like to discuss deals with O'Leary's, which is at 1010 Beacon Street. As Selectman Daley noted, the Brookline Police Department has started to do sting operations not just on package stores but on restaurants. And last year on November 13th, 27th, and December 4th of 2012, the police conducted several sting operations on the Section 12 restaurant holders of liquor licenses. And these are done in compliance with Police Special Order 2012-13. There is a process that they go through. In this particular sting, they employed two Northeastern students who were age 20 at the time. They are sent into the various establishments and asked to be served liquor. So the police, prior to doing that, they always issue a media release, and prior to this particular sting on September 19th and again on September 24th, they notified both the Brookline Patch and the Brookline Tab and advertised that these stings would be occurring at the various establishments in Brookline. On November 13th, these two 20-year-olds who worked for the police department as co-op students at the time, they went through the process in compliance with the special order. They're photographed, they're given a breath test for alcohol, their identity is confirmed with ID. They read the special order, they sign off on it, and they bring their cell phone into the establishments with the money that is given to them by the compliance officer. And in this particular afternoon, it was approximately 1 o'clock, they went into O'Leary's, which is located at 1010 Beacon Street, and they entered the establishment. They sat at the bar there, and they ordered 2 beers and were served without being asked for identification, at which point they text the compliance officer who comes in and saw them with the 2 beers in front of them, and they then identify the bartender. In this case, it was the owner, Mr. Angus O'Leary, who is with us this evening. If you have any questions, he did acknowledge that in fact happened. They were served without being identified properly with the proper identification. The various other administrative checks were fine, so the charge this evening is actually 2 counts. A notice was sent, and Madam Chairman, I just would like to read that the board has been given, and a copy has been given to the establishment of the exhibits that should be entered into the record of these minutes, and the first one is the February 12, 2013 notice of violation with the hearing date. Exhibit number 2 is the certificate of service that the letter was in fact delivered. Then you have a copy number 3 of the common victular license. Exhibit number 4 is the actual vote by the board granting the license. And the 5th is the police report without the many attachments that outlines the facts in this case. And since that time, there were There is an update, a memorandum that went to Chief O'Leary, and that since 2000, O'Leary, there's no record of them failing any previous compliance check, and an administrative inspection they've passed, and there was one administrative inspection back in February for some issues with the liquor notebook that was rectified immediately. In fact, in August of 12, there was what they call a shoulder tap inspection, where an officer goes in, looks for potentially underage drinkers, and asks for their identification, and there were no violations at that time. So a clear record for O'Leary's. This is their first offense, and the chief is here, and the recommendation is to impose 3 days suspended for a year.
Okay, this is a public hearing, and there's just a couple of formal statements that I would like to make. The first is to ask Mr. O'Leary if he did receive proper notice of this public hearing? Yes. If you'd come forward, please.
Yes, Chairman, I did.
Okay. And you are representing yourself in this matter, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And you have heard what town council said, so my question to you is, do you have any comments to make, or do you contest any of the statements that were made by town council?
I do not contest. The only comment I can make is, just to make a full apology. Not wishing to make excuses, however, it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon when one might be less than diligent in such matters. And I was very mad at myself because I'm very one to explain in no uncertain detail to the rest of the staff to be on the lookout, especially during the evening hours. But again, not making an excuse. I messed up.
And I think I'm going to quote Selectman Daley, who says, "We are particularly vigilant in Brookline about this, and I think we do our best to put people on notice that we do stings, and we have very high expectations for our license holders in the town." So I appreciate the fact that you accept that these violations did occur, and I'm hearing that you feel remorse and would like not to have it happen again. So, having said that, I believe we have established that there was a violation, and the second is to recommend action by the board. And for that, I will call on the chief, who will make a recommendation with regard to the violation and recommend a sanction.
Yes, our recommendation, because it's the first offense, is that what we've recommended in the past is 3 days suspended but not impose the 3 days. Hold it for 1 year, and they'll receive inspections throughout the year. And if they don't have any more violations, then we won't impose the 3 days. I do want to say that the police department has contracted with an individual to come in and do some training. It's for Monday night up at the
yes.
Baker School.
Thank you for reminding us about that.
And Mr. O'Leary has agreed to come, and he's going to attend that training as part of this, as is the second person that you'll hear from tonight from 320 Washington Street.
Okay.
So I know that we made a diligent effort to try to get all of our liquor establishments and liquor stores to send people to that. We will be taking attendance, and we will be giving out certificates to people that stay for the 2 hours with us. So this will be our first one that we're kicking off, and we hope to have a pretty good turnout.
Very good. And I appreciate the fact that we are also making an effort to educate our license holders. We've been revising our liquor regulations, and I think it's important for them to understand the current regulations, but also for them to have all of the information they need in order to carry out their business in a responsible way, which we fully expect they will do. We have some formal actions to take, but before we get there, are there any questions? Yes.
I just want to make a comment. I have to say to Mr. O'Leary, I find it disappointing that an experienced pub owner like yourself would totally fail to ask for identification, and the fact that it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon doesn't doesn't really do it for me. I think nowhere in town is the student population more concentrated than near your establishment. And so I would just urge you to bear that in mind, that you have to ask people, even if they're young, but even if they look like they're over the age, just to, and make sure you actually take a look at the ID that they present.
Not to pile on here, but, your close proximity to BU makes this concerning too. We don't want this to have the reputation as a place where undergraduates below the age of 21 can go, and you don't want that reputation either.
Selectman Baker, sorry.
Yeah, I just want to be clear that you understand that if there is another violation within this one-year period, these 3 days will be imposed in addition to whatever the penalty would be for that further violation. Okay, and I must say, just on a lighter note, that you have great shepherd's pie, and we don't want to have to close you down even temporarily, so.
Right. Okay, so we have a little formal business to do here. We have heard the violation, and we've heard the licensee's response. I make a motion for a finding that the licensee is responsible for the violations described in the hearing notice marked as Exhibit 1. All in favor of a finding of responsible with regard to the charge of engaging in the sale of the delivery of alcoholic beverages to a person under 21 years of age, 2 counts, on November 13th, 2012, in violation of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 34, and the Code of Massachusetts Regulations 204 CM 2.05. Do I have to read all of this? Kate, I'm going to give you this. This is crazy for me to read it out.
I gave Kate a copy, so she has it.
Okay, all right. Anyway, all in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And with regard to the chief's recommendation on sanctions, the motion is that the license shall be suspended for a period of 3 days, with the 3 days of said suspension withheld on the following conditions. If this board finds the licensee in violation of any provision of the Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, or the regulations of the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission, or the Town of Brookline's sale of alcoholic beverages regulations within a 12-month period on or after, between February 26, 2013 through February 25, 2014, that suspension will be imposed by the board and served by the licensee without further hearing on such dates as this board may designate. In addition, any further sanctions that may be voted by the board for additional violations. And if this board does not find the licensee in violation of any provision on or after February 25th, 2014, the suspension of 3 days shall be dismissed. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. We do not want to see you again, Mr. O'Leary. Okay, next is a public hearing on the matter of a liquor violation at, Zen 320.
Thank you.
And this is Ms. Kim again? Okay.
Yes, Ms. Kim is here this evening on behalf of Zen 320, the liquor license issued to a corporation called JJU Enterprise, Inc., doing business as Zen 320. And as I've stated, the Brookline Police conduct these stings, and on November 13th of 2012, they conducted one at Zen 320. The 2 underage 20-year-olds entered the establishment, were served alcohol. One person was served alcohol without being properly identified, and carded, what we normally refer to as carded. And also, there was the failure to have an on-site manager in violation of Section A18 of the town's own alcohol regulations. And as you heard this evening, they have made an attempt to correct that by adding an alternate manager, so there'll always be someone present on site. The recommendation for this these particular violations are, again, 3 days and suspended for a year.
Ms. Kim, would you come up to the microphone, please? And you are representing the business with regard to this violation matter?
Yes, I am.
And do you have any comment, or do you have any disagreement with the facts that have been stated?
I do not, just that it's regrettable what happened, and I'm confident it won't happen again. And historically, this is something that we and will continue to take seriously. As the chief mentioned, I will be attending this seminar. And I'm
Good.
really sorry that this happened, and I
Okay.
hope we never have to come back.
Are there any comments? Yes, Selectman Daley.
Yeah, I just have a question. The employee who did not ask for identification was Masamichi Takeda? And so has he gone through some training now?
Yes, I have in our binder, I have the quiz that he took on serving safe alcohol.
Well, I think it's important, not only that people go through the training, but they understand you on the management side.
Yes.
Feel like this is very important.
Yes, it's been reiterated to him.
Selectman Benka.
Yeah, just going forward, obviously you've addressed with the action earlier today the issue of the manager, but I'm just looking at the records of administrative inspections at the premises, and March 23rd of 10, there was a failure of an administrative inspection. The liquor notebook was not available, no training certifications, no manager on site. April 10th of 2010, same failures. September of 2010, same failures. Then it passed a couple of times in 2011, in January and November. Then we go to February of 2012, another failure of an administrative inspection, liquor notebook outdated, no manager on site. Then a manager's application came in March of 12, passed a couple of administrative inspections after that in March of 2012 and February of 2013. So unlike the last licensee, there really have been a series, not of compliance checks where or so-called sting operations, but of the administrative requirements that you have as a license holder. And I just want you to be clear that those are also in play at this point. So there's going to be a 3-day suspension recommended, which will be withheld. But as I understand it, if there is a violation of an administrative check over this next year, those 3 days could be imposed. Is that correct?
Yes, in fact, that would be automatic, and that will go out in the notice of your order this evening.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So it's not just the stings. I mean, obviously now you're coming in and taking responsibility for this, but there are the requirements of the records in the notebook, having the manager on site, having records of training, having people trained, and I can't emphasize enough that that is also part of your responsibility as a licensee.
Yes, and we've definitely taken actions to rectify those issues.
Thank you.
Selectman Goldstein.
I want to add one other thing too, and this might be something the chief addresses in a moment. Another difference between this case and the previous case is you have two different violations there. It's not just the service to the minor, which is by far the more important, but also your failure to have a manager. But yet the recommended penalty is the same as the previous case. So you're if that is the vote of this board to impose that penalty, I would say that you'll be getting a considerable amount of goodwill break, and please, don't make us look foolish if that's what happens.
Understood.
Okay, now for the formal part of this public hearing. We now must decide if the licensee is responsible for the violation, and therefore I will make a motion for a finding that the licensee is responsible for the violations described in the hearing notice marked as Exhibit 1. All in favor of a finding of responsible with regard to the charge of engaging in the sale of delivery of alcoholic beverages to a person under 21 years of age, and I'm not going to read the rest of it, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. And I gather, Chief, your recommendation.
Excuse me, I think you should also make a motion to find responsibility for the lack of having an on-site manager.
Oh, okay.
Please, thank you.
Then I will also make a motion for a finding of responsible with regard to not having an on-site manager on the premises. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you, Town Council. Chief, your recommendation?
My recommendation would be the same.
Then I will move that the motion is to suspend the liquor license of Zen 320 for a period of 3 days. However, the 3 days of suspension shall be withheld on the following terms and conditions. If this board finds the licensee in violation of any provision of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, the regulations of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission, or the Town of Brookline's sale of alcoholic beverages regulations within a 12-month period on or after, or beginning February 26, 2013 through February 25, 2014, said 3-day suspension shall be imposed by the board and served by the licensee without further hearing on such dates as this board may designate, in addition to any further sanctions that may be voted by this board for such additional violations. And if this board does not find the licensee in violation of any provision of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission regulations, or the Town of Brookline's sale of alcoholic beverages regulations, during the period of February 26, 2013 through February 25, 2014, the 3-day suspension shall be dismissed. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And
Yes.
if I could just read into the record, for the purposes of the minutes, that the exhibits for Zen 320, which are incorporated, are number 1, the February 12, 2013 notice, number 2, the certificate of service, number 3, the CV license, number 4, the original vote by the board granting the license, and number 5, the police report. Thank you.
All of which we have.
Yes.
Right. Thank you very much, Town Council, and Ms. Kim, good luck. Have a manager on the premises, and make sure that all of your employees are not just trained, but actually check when there's any question whatsoever about the age of one of your dinner guests. Okay?
Good luck.
All right. I think we have an inflammables storage matter. Is there anybody here to talk about flaming? Do we need someone to talk about it? So this is a public hearing on the application of Stop and Shop Supermarket Company with regard to the storage of inflammables. And would you identify yourself for the record, please?
Hi, my name is Connor Nagel, the engineer of record with VHB on behalf of Stop and Shop.
Okay. And please explain.
Stop and Shop currently operates a gas station at the project site, 137 Harvard Street, adjacent to the Stop and Shop store. They took over that site about 10 years ago. The fuel storage tanks, underground tanks that are there, are approaching the limit of their life. They are single-wall steel tanks, and by DEP regulation are required to be out of the ground regardless of condition by 2017. So at this point, in advance of that date, to make sure that there aren't any accidents, they have looked at taking them out, replacing them with state-of-the-art as we build in their stations elsewhere. While doing that, they're proposing to remodel the station. We've been through the planning board, zoning board for that remodel. As part of that remodel, we're seeking, and why we're here is we're seeking to increase the capacity from the 16,000 gallons that are there today to 40,000 gallons, more in keeping with a new fuel station that would be put in today. I'd be happy to explain any more.
Okay, questions? Selectman Daley?
Yeah, well, is the appearance of the station from the street going to be different? I mean, or the same
Yes.
number of pumps, only with bigger tanks underneath?
No, they're, today, I'm sure you're familiar with the location, it's a disused garage. That garage will be torn down, the 2 pumps taken out, 3 pumps will be put in with a canopy over them, a small kiosk for the attendant, and the underground storage tanks. There's significant landscape improvements to the site. If you're familiar with any of Stop and Shop's other facilities, it will be more in keeping. It'll be slightly smaller. We don't typically do 3-pump stations. They're more 4 and 5s, but in this case, that's the limit of the site. It'll be more in keeping with what Stop and Shop do nowadays.
Other questions? Selectman Goldstein?
And I apologize, but I can't tell from your drawing here. So you're tearing down the garage. Are you rebuilding a structure in the approximate location where the garage is?
No, there's the canopy over the pumps and a small prefabricated kiosk that will go in just for the attendant.
So there'll be
There
an
is no
attendant.
garage.
And there's not a place that we're going to see a snack shop or service bay or
No.
anything of that nature
No.
in there?
They will sell a quart of oil, window washer, fluid, but no vending machine, no snacks of that nature.
Okay. And now canopies, did you need to get some zoning relief to put a canopy in? Is that what happened?
Yes, we've been through the planning board and zoning board for that. There was a waiver of some setbacks. Our original design didn't actually require that, but the planning board and design review board preferred that we relocated the parking spaces that are required to the rear, which forced us to pull the canopy up beyond the setback, so we did get that relief.
I see. And tell me a little bit about the fire suppression system that exists and that will be installed there.
I'm not sure I don't believe there is fire suppression today because it's a full-serve station. The proposal is to make it a self-serve. Obviously, there will be assistance available for anyone in need of assistance. But as a self-serve facility, there will be a fire suppression system meeting all the state and federal requirements in the canopy that will cover all of the fueling area out to those grooves you see at the edge of the concrete. The positive limiting barriers will suppress any fire within that area. Within the kiosk at the fingertip of the attendant is a fire suppression release and a fire alarm to bring the fire department should anything happen.
Okay. Sorry, I had one more question, and it just slipped my mind for a second, because it is getting late.
Right. Any other questions, members of the board? I have a question. Your application actually says to have the fuel facility, canopy, kiosk, restrooms, and fuel storage. Does this mean there will be public restrooms on the premises?
No, there's a restroom within the kiosk
For
the use of the attendant.
For the
only.
attendant?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions from members of the board?
Can't think of it.
Okay, well, then I will move that we approve the application of Stop and Shop Supermarket Company, Sally Russell, licensing manager.
Public hearing, so you should ask if anyone wants.
This is a public hearing. Is there anybody present who wishes to speak either in favor or in opposition? Seeing and hearing none. I move that we approve the application of Stop and Shop Supermarket Company, Sally Russell, licensing manager, for the keeping, storage, and use and sale of fuel oil.
I did remember my question. I'm so sorry. Were any conditions put on delivery hours by the ZBA when they approved your?
No.
And are there times during which we should expect delivery hours? I ask because it's a congested area, a lot of traffic there. I know that safety risks are higher when fuel is being delivered, and should we be expecting delivery hours during some of the off hours?
Deliveries Stop and Shop have very good control, as all gas station owners do, of their truck deliveries. It's all an automated system. They can punch in exactly when, where, the route the driver should take to get to their particular site, and the time they want it delivered. Stop and Shop want their deliveries off-peak so that they're not conflicting with their customers.
I think I remember this in connection with another gas station. We have some limitations in town
Right.
about deliveries in the middle of the night.
So that's the tricky part. So I agree with you, off-peak is better from a safety point of view and frankly, from a traffic congestion point of view too. But on the other hand, the middle of the night doesn't work for us because it's a residential area too.
I should clarify, off-peak does not mean off hours. It's when the gas station is open, but not at the peak traffic times. Gas station peak hours tend to follow commuter peak hours. You generally don't go out of your way to get gas, you get it when you're on the road. We won't have deliveries during the AM, sort of 7 to 9, or whatever the peaks are, 4 to 6, lunchtime on a Saturday. They avoid the peak traffic times, but not off hours when the station is closed. This is not a 24-hour facility, it follows the store hours.
I guess the good news is it's a larger tank and fewer deliveries too.
So I'd like to, if this is going to be voted for approval, I'd like the hours that they just described for delivery to be part of our approval. It can be a very sensitive issue in gas station delivery, I know that.
So,
Are you prepared to name the hours?
Well, what did you just say? You're going to avoid the rush hours?
If the board is favorable to it, I'd prefer to keep it as off-peak rather than give specific hours. I'm not the traffic engineer.
Selectman Goldstein, I have a question for you. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I know we have imposed hours in other locations, but I'm not aware of complaints about this one. And therefore, I'm not clear that we're taking an action that we understand well enough.
Well, I think you're going to see, if their plan is correct, a increase in the utilization of this
You think because of the additional,
Well, it's going to be more attractive.
it's going to be a larger facility?
It's going to be more attractive, and it's going to be attracting more traffic.
Right.
So I'll go with the off-peak hours for now. We do, re-grant these applications every year, so
Yeah.
there'll be an opportunity to revisit it if there's a problem.
off-peak, as I understood you, sir, off-peak, but during regular business hours?
Yes, and these things do sort of self-regulate. It's not in Stop and Shop's interest to have them there during the peak times.
Sure, or else people can't get in to buy gas.
Right.
So instead of off-peak, though, I might say during,
Is your concern not having deliveries at night primarily? And,
well, it's two things. It's congestion on the site,
okay.
which is both a traffic hazard, but also a safety hazard. And then it's also not in the middle of the night. So there's two different levels of concern.
We certainly will have some more room available on the site, having taken down the larger garage structure.
Now, I think we have a town bylaw that covers the nighttime hours. I don't think we need to talk about that.
No, but
on the other
defining
hand,
what's allowed.
But rush hour, peak, I think if you get the idea of rush hour in there is not an appropriate time for for fuel deliveries.
So not during peak rush hours, during regular business hours, but not during peak rush hours.
Early evening is probably the best
Is that
time for
okay?
that kind of thing.
Well, actually, it was explained that it would only be during Stop and Shop's business hours.
Right.
Maybe, Madam Chairman, when you state it, if you say deliveries to be limited to off-peak and then parentheses, non-rush hour, I think that would get the,
Okay, can we say off-peak business hours, that is not rush hour?
yeah, and then parentheses, not rush hour. I think that'll get the concept across.
Okay, we'll try that.
I'm sorry for the
Uh,
stuff to go there.
Well, we got it in. That's okay. This is a public hearing. Was there anybody here who wished to speak in favor or against the off-peak hours? Seeing and hearing none. Okay, I move that we approve the application of Stop and Shop Supermarket Company, Sally Russell, licensing manager, for the keeping, storage, and use and sale of fuel oil in 2 underground tanks, capacity 40,000 gallons, and for the keeping, storage, and use and sale of 35 gallons of antifreeze and 50 gallons of motor oil at 137 Harvard Street, with deliveries of bulk to be limited to business, to off-peak business hours, parens, not rush hour. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing your canopy.
Thank you.
Next item is a public hearing on the application of Yu Sushi for a transfer of a wine and malt beverage license.
Good evening, member of the board. Let me introduce myself. My name is Margaret Sihu, counsel for Ji Yuan Inc., which is the owner I have here today is Kyu Yun Lei. She's also known as Wendy. We're proposing to acquire the restaurant business currently known as Yu Sushi.
Yu Sushi, yep.
Yes. And we intend to keep the operation in very similar manners, except that the management will be different. And I am obviously open for question, and my client is here, so we would be happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Okay. I'm going to mention that part of the application was a request that the business be allowed to operate with its common victualler license serving food before the Alcoholic Beverage Board approves the alcoholic beverage license.
That's correct. I believe my office sent out a letter to the Office of Selectmen to have that request, and obviously I would like to have it on record that if the board can approve the applicant, then we would also like to be able to operate without waiting for the ABCC's.
Well, I think once we've proved the common victualler license, you're allowed to serve food. You just can't serve alcohol.
That's
And
correct.
after this ABCC approves it, it comes back to the town of Brookline, and we will then issue our license. At that time, it's allowed, would be permitted to serve alcoholic beverages.
Correct.
Selectman Benka?
They have applied for the liquor license now, though.
I know. Well, they have to apply for it, because in order for them to get it approved by the ABCC, we have to approve it.
Okay.
But maybe my recollection is failing, but I thought that there were situations in the past where we had a transfer of license and effectively the transferee was or the business was allowed to operate until during the period after our approval and prior to the ABCC approval, or am I wrong?
Have to tell you, you're beyond my technical expertise. What I could imagine, and I don't know the truth of it, and we don't have our town council here to answer the question, but it is conceivable that they could, well, I'm not sure how they would do it, operate under the old license until the new one was issued, but normally they can't operate with the liquor license until ABCC approves it.
I think sometimes the old owner will continue to operate
Yeah,
until,
right.
until such time as the ABCC
There may be some
approves.
sort of
Okay, and that's not happening here?
informal
The old owner is
Yeah, if I
gone?
may, if I may, let me explain. I believe the board, Ms. DeWitt is correct in the sense that the ABCC has to approve my client's application before alcohol can be served on the premises. But when we applied to the town, we do have to apply for the CV and also for the approval of the transfer of the ABCC's liquor license. And so my client's request right now is that if the CV is approved, we will be serving just food. And
Okay.
until the license from the ABCC is approved, which the town will get notice, and then
Right.
once the town inform us, then we will put that up on our premises, and then we can start serving alcohol.
Right.
Which is just beer and wine, by the way.
Ken, do you recall what we did in the case of the restaurant that's across the street from the Stop and Shop on Beacon Street? There was an extensive, there was the new,
Tapas restaurant?
Star Market, you mean?
yeah, the Tapas restaurant and, I'm sorry, across from the Star Market on Beacon Street. There was a long build-out period, and the question was,
The question was.
I guess the old, what happened was the old licensee, we approved the transfer, and the old licensee continued in
Continue to
business.
serve up
Right.
until,
And
yeah,
in fact,
right.
there was one of the applications we had here tonight, there was a letter, which is what should have happened in that case too, that says, from the old licensee saying, I will relinquish my
Right,
license
as
upon
of the
upon the
time,
grant
right.
of the new license.
Upon approval by the
Should have happened in that
ABCC.
case,
Right.
and that's,
Gotcha.
you know,
Okay.
right.
Yes.
All right, so the old licensee here will be out of the picture completely.
That's correct.
Okay.
I think for
Okay.
both our parties, we decided it would be in best interest that we operate, clear and free, and we don't want
Okay.
the transferor to continue to operate, and we rather just, start with the restaurant, and once
Good,
we.
okay.
Right, and I believe that once we approve the common victular license, that is okay. You can go ahead with service of food. And you're correct, when ABCC approves the transfer, we will be noticed, we will then issue the license, and at that time, the alcoholic beverages can be served.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all for that
Okay,
clarification.
a little bit of
Appreciate it.
education in liquor licensing. Selectman Daley.
Yes, I'd like to have the new, are you the owner and manager? Yeah, come up to the,
Would you come forward, please?
Hey, you can call me Wendy.
okay. So I don't know if you were here earlier to hear that we had, our police department periodically conducts stings at restaurants and things to see if you're serving minors. They'll send in a minor who will ask for alcohol, and we had a couple of hearings tonight from people that did not ask for identification and served the minors alcohol. So I just wanted to make sure you understand that we take our liquor laws very seriously in Brookline. We have a lot of students living here, and so you and all your staff need to be trained and to ask for identification if somebody looks at all young, and
Even if they don't look so young. It's flattering to
Boston
people.
Garden is the only place I know that actually asks my white-haired husband for identification. I don't know if you have to go that far, but, I would say, set a rule like anyone who looks like they're 30 or younger, or 35 or something, ask for identification. So you understand, and you've been trained.
Yes, I do.
Just to add a note, she just took all of these, these courses relatively recent, so she definitely remembers she's got the most recent, up-to-date courses on the tips and all the various safety, service of alcohol.
Okay. Selectman Goldstein?
Thank you. Wendy, if I'm reading your materials correctly, though, it doesn't appear that you have experience in this particular field before. Is that correct?
That's right. I been banking about 10 years, so I always have a new dream, see if I can do my own business. So right now I get new opportunities through buying this U2C restaurants, and my cousin is the one we do it together, and he have a experience about 5 years business. So
In this business?
in the restaurant business.
In the restaurant
yeah.
business, yeah. And you've never worked in a restaurant before?
I have part-time and watching them. He have his own, so I doing nighttime with them. So seeing what they're doing. So now it's my turn.
All right, and you've never served alcohol before either?
No.
It's a little bit concerning to me. Have you thought about having an alternate manager, maybe having somebody who's been doing this for a while as an alternate so that you had some backup?
Yes, that will be my manager and my nephews. So me and him, we take the course together, and if I'm not there, definitely it's to be
Okay,
him.
I would like to maybe make it very clear to you. In Brookline, we have a special category in our liquor licensing. You may have an alternate manager. That person has to be certified in alcoholic beverage service, and we must approve that person. Having said that, if you have identified someone who will be working with you and who will also be your assistant manager in practice, that person should come to us and be appointed officially as the alternate manager, and that means that you have two people who can be qualified to be responsible on the premises at any time. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just the fact that you've hired somebody to be your manager does not make that person qualified as an alternate manager in the service of alcoholic beverages approved by the town of Brookline.
Ms. DeWitt, let me clarify this. What Wendy's hoping is that once she gets herself set up, that if she needs help, she has family members that would be able to assist her in, running and operating and managing the restaurant. And if that time comes, we definitely will be before the board and asking for those permissions. But at this point, it's kind of her dream, and she wants to really run this for now.
Well, she can run her business. We're not telling her how to do that at all. We're just simply saying you get a backup for when you need to go someplace else. You do not want to leave that premises without a responsible, designated, appointed by the town. Nobody else will be qualified to do that unless we make the appointment. So she can run her business whatever way she likes, but if there is a person named as alternate manager, she can take off for a day if she's sick, and that person can be legally responsible. That's what we're trying to say. Okay?
Definitely noted on that, and at this point, like I said, we haven't really, there hasn't been any formal, what I should say.
Well, she can work out her own business
Yes.
plan. I'm just trying to give you some information. Selectman Goldstein, sorry.
That's all right. One of the requirements of our town bylaw is that you keep a notebook behind the bar. Are you familiar with the requirement and what needs to be in that notebook?
The notebook?
Yeah, a notebook.
I think she should go to the training.
Yeah, I think so too. I got one more concern about this too, and Attorney Suhu, it's in your cover letter of February 5th. My client does not fully understand upon the possible granting of the license. I mean, why is there problems with understanding that. I'm not sure why you've got a cover letter that's explaining that there is information that's not fully understood.
I think I think we was just clarifying that we won't be serving liquor, and that my client is fully understands that the granting of the CV currently will not allow her the privilege to serve alcohol until we have.
Oh, she does fully understand that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
there's
That's what it says.
there's no question about her understanding that, okay,
And then we just want to clarify that point on the letter to you.
okay.
But the training that we were just speaking of, the police department is running a training.
Do you have that information?
It's,
that we could,
they said they were going to do it.
March
it's the
4th.
next Monday.
Ken, is it
Yeah, I
March
would-
4th?
I get the email from
Yeah, on
The
Monday,
training.
so
from
I'd want to
their-
make that a requirement that she attend.
I got the email and flight, and then I am
from Brenda, right?
from the Derek, I think.
Okay, so
The city-
you
city
know
of-
about this, and do you plan to attend?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Make it a-
I'd
we
like
can
to
make it
I'd like to suggest we make that a condition that she attend,
Okay.
and do we know who's running that?
What's the police department?
The police
Yeah, do we know in
department,
particular? I mean, she should
Lieutenant Hayes is but he'll take attendance, he said.
Check in with the
Yeah,
Lieutenant Hayes.
yeah, right. Okay,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just clarify with Wendy, because I remember her and I talked about a little bit regarding this, talking to the police officers. She's already signed up with the list, just so that
Okay.
she wasn't sure we were talking about the same.
Yes.
class, But
Good.
she says, she just told me she already talked to the the Brookline police officer twice, and that she did sign up something for some
Okay.
sort of class. But
Good.
I think we were talking about the same class.
that's very good. That's what we were just asking about.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions?
No.
Then, we're ready to take a vote. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak either in favor or in opposition of issuing this license? Seeing and hearing none. Okay, we're going to have a series of votes. The first will be to approve a common victular license. The second will be to approve a wine and malt license. The third will be to approve an entertainment license, and finally, we'll vote the manager of record, okay? Sorry about all this. Therefore, I move that we approve the application of Zijuan for a common victular license at 1393 Beacon Street, as a transfer, doing business as Yu Sushi, Ki Yun Lee, Wende Lee, owner, and said license to be exercised at the present location and the business to be carried on as before, with the hours to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next is the wine and malt beverage, and Selectman Goldstein, you want to add a requirement to attend the training, or we know she signed up?
Right, no, I'd like to have the further condition that the applicant manager attend the training session scheduled for Monday, March, what is it? Fourth,
Monday, March 4th.
and that she check in with the officer presiding. Or
Kate, did you get that? Do I? Okay. Then, I move we approve the application of Zijuan doing business as Yu Sushi, Ki Yun Lee, owner, to approve her as a holder of a wine and malt beverages license as a common victular at 1393 Beacon Street, with the conditions stated by Selectman Goldstein. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And next, I'm going to move that we approve the same application for an entertainment license to include radio and TV, All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. And finally, I move that we approve Kian Lee to be manager of the premises operating as Yu Sushi at 1393 Beacon Street. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, you've got a common victualler, an alcoholic beverage, an entertainment, and a manager.
Thank you so much.
What more could you ask for?
Chairman DeWitt.
Sorry, you want more?
I just want to ask whether you want to talk about the alternate manager.
We did, but
Okay.
she says she's not ready yet.
Going to be, okay.
All right.
So,
When you have hired staff,
yes.
we definitely recommend that you come back and have us approve an alternate manager.
Yes,
Okay.
for the outside
Yeah.
manager, yes.
Yeah.
For,
Right. When you're up and running.
Well, because we're hiring, I think Ms. Lay is saying is that there's a manager in the kitchen, or so we call the person who does the cooking, and he's not holder of the liquor license, but he's also a manager, and I think she was a little bit confused in that essence that, so the restaurant's gonna be operated by her and managing the front.
We're not telling her how to run her business, all right? You need to understand, this is simply a person who, if she is not on the premises, is the one who is responsible. And if there is, for example, a liquor sting and it's violated, that is the person who must be there. Otherwise, it's a two violation,
Yeah.
okay?
Maybe I should explain a little bit. We recently revised our liquor bylaws in the town. And instead of having, standards in there like, no more than this many drinks, or this is, the kind that you can't have pitchers, or you can't have pitchers, whatever. We did away with a lot of those minutia, and instead we said the manager, the person who the town identifies as the manager of the establishment, they're responsible for not over-serving people, for making sure that people underage don't get served. And it's a big responsibility, and we want the town to be able to know that there's one person on premises at all time who bears that responsibility. For you to be there all the time is probably more than one person can do. Couple that with the fact that you are new to this business, and we strongly recommend, we have provision in our bylaw for there to be alternate managers, so that somebody else who can have that responsibility from time to time. You're not to serve liquor, though, when there's not somebody with that responsibility on the premises, so.
Selectman Benka?
So-
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, if you get a copy of the town's liquor regulations, it's in paragraph A18, and it provides, "At no time shall the premises be open without a duly appointed and board-approved manager or alternate manager in charge. However, in the event of an emergency, the manager or alternate manager on site who needs to leave the premises shall designate another employee who's qualified under Section 827 to act as the temporary manager on duty." So the alternate manager could be somebody, it could be the person in the back who is qualified and who has the proper alcohol sales training. That person could serve as the alternate manager, and that is the person who would have responsibility if you're not there. But the idea is that not only do you, as the manager, have to be on the premises 50% of the time or 40 hours a week, but there has to be an alternate manager or other designated person under our regulations when you're not there.
Thank you. I believe we will be back. Like I said, we know it's gonna take some time for us to get our liquor license too, and that's the reason why, we may be back here, once we know that the license is approved, and at that moment in time, we're able to find somebody that we can, say, definitely that's the alternate. It's just that we
Good.
don't have
Okay.
that person.
Sure.
That's
Okay. No, I just-
why we-
Good.
We do
This is-
appreciate that, and we understand what.
Well, we wish you the best of luck with your.
Thank you
Good
so
luck.
much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay. Next, we have a public hearing on the application of the Country Club. How many alternate managers do you have?
actually more than allowed by the regulations.
Madam Chair,
Are
members
they
of
all
the,
approved?
Madam Chair, members of the board, for the record, my name is Robert Allen. I have a law practice 300 Washington Street in Brookline Village. With me is David Shagg, General Manager of the Country Club, also the Manager of Record on the Country Club. As the board is aware, we've been operating the Country Club, boy, I'd like to say we in the Country Club in the same sense. But I'll step back. The Country Club has been operating with 2 licenses for as long as I can see back on our records here in Brookline. And with the current situation of the town not having an excess of license, it was actually a good time, in combination of a somewhat recent ABCC decision back in 2009 relating to golf courses, to turn in one of these licenses. Provides the town with an extra license that they can do what they see fit, and it still manages to cover.
I'm sure Mr. Allen has a client ready in the wings to take that license.
There were 3 before I turned it in. Timing is everything.
Right.
But what we needed to do is, in turning in this license, is also change the description. Under that 2009 decision, it allows golf courses to essentially cover the entire course. For instance, if you have a service station somewhere out there, or a little hut like they do, they don't serve liquor out there, but it allows the entire golf course to be covered under the
You also
under the
apparently
license.
are going to be permitted to serve in the boiler room?
And it allows the buildings within the golf course that are surrounded the golf course, as long as you give a description of all the buildings within the golf course. That's why you see an excessive amount of description, but as Madam Chair is aware, a lot of the ABCC statutes go way back, and sometimes you scratch your head with them, but we wanted to make sure we complied, so we described every building to a T. And as you know, the Country Club has a long history with the town and never been before the town for any violations. Clearly, they know how to run the business. The prior liquor
We
licenses...
probably can't get our people in there to do stains.
The prior liquor license served essentially the men's locker room and the main dining facility, and that's really what will continue. There has been certain pool parties around the pool area, and people have used the curling room and other particular areas for little parties and whatnot. But essentially, nothing will change, except for we'll have one license that essentially covers the entire property, rather than having 2. So that's it. David Shagg is here to answer any questions, but pretty straightforward, and certainly exciting.
Well, I'm very curious to know how you're going to serve in the laundry room, the mechanical rooms. I find this inventory very interesting.
Where there's a will, there's a way, I guess. Again, that no intention to serve, but required under the statute to give a detailed
I
description.
do understand, Mr. Allen. I think I'm bemused at the statute that requires it, that's all.
As am
Selectman
I.
Daley.
I think I saw some mention in here, do you have the carts that go
Yeah.
out onto the golf course?
They do not have a liquor cart. They do not have a liquor cart.
But
And you're not planning on?
authorize it.
This would authorize it,
This
correct.
would
It says to
Oh.
be sold from structures listed herein and from beverage carts thereon.
Yes, that's again consistent with the statute requirement. They do have a snack bar out in the, but liquor is not sold out of there, and there's no anticipation that liquor will
You
be sold
take your
out of
golf
there.
very seriously.
They don't even let carts out there to play golf on, never mind. So,
Okay,
it's a
well,
walking course.
questions, Selectman Benka.
Yeah, I actually have a technical question. Do you have the liquor license? Do you have a copy of it? Because we got one in our packet, and given the numbers here and the importance of the numbering, the letter from Lieutenant Hayes refers to license 0148000025, and the prior license, which you're giving up, is 0148000026. But this license, which was in our packet, Bobby,
2.5?
there's a 2.5 and a 2.6.
Right.
But we've got this license
412.
in our packet, which is LN 20120412. And I'm
Whose numbers are we talking about? Is this?
I'm looking in the upper right-hand.
No, I
corner.
do. I'm wondering if it's an
I'm seeing
ABCC
that,
number.
And then I don't know. And then I'm looking at the vote, which refers to a completely different number.
We did not renew 2.6, and what's before you is the amend the description of number 2.5. The only
Okay.
license I have is the 2.5 license. So I don't know which one you have.
Okay,
But it's the 2.5 that we're requesting.
all right. If you're comfortable with that number, we can go
I
ahead
have to
with
say,
that vote.
we really do need to sort this out, because the number on the license that we have a copy has nothing whatsoever to do with the number that's on the vote.
It's 0148000025.
I believe you, but
Do you
would
have
you
that, do you have a copy
just
of it?
like to
don't.
see what this looks like? What is actually on the,
So I don't know if that's the
printed
license or if it's a
document.
different, which is,
is a very different number.
Yeah, I don't think this is the number, right? Yeah, this is a different number. One's an ABCC number, and this is, I don't know, must be internal to the town number. I'm not really
Okay.
sure.
so we're dealing, your numbers are the ABCC
Right.
numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
That's also
All right,
has
good.
to get approved, but-
Okay.
But thank you for bringing that up. I would clarify it that it is 2.5.
Okay.
0148000025, which is the ABCC licensing
Okay.
number.
Can I just say, I know Selectman Benka mentioned that they have more alternate managers than are allowed, but I think in such a large
No, no, no.
establishment where they're serving.
They can have as many as they
Oh,
want.
oh.
No.
I think it was a joke.
Oh, no, yeah, I don't think,
No,
he never
it
jokes.
actually wasn't a joke, but I think it's, actually, I think our regulations say up to 2 alternate managers.
We've never limited anybody.
I know, nor should we.
Well, and I think in this occasion, I mean, if we have to grant them some special thing to have more, they've got a couple of locations within this large
Absolutely.
establishment where they're serving liquor, and we want to have a responsible person, and Mr. Shag can't be everywhere.
Right. No, I think,
So I think we certainly should allow them to have the 4 alternate managers that they've got.
Yeah, I'd say that in that regard, we've got the 2 restaurants, we've got event areas, and it's open 6 days a week, and the activities that go on. And I know we tried to list the individuals who we take a great deal of time and effort into educating, going through the tips training. We do our own in-house training and renewal every year, so that these are seasoned managers that have been in the business for a long period of time. Half of them on that list have gone through management schools, hospitality management schools, and graduations. So we've looked at it very seriously as to who we've trained and who's on as we put together management schedules. But you're right, it's very difficult for us to have even 3 people that could be available on a regular basis with the size of the operation that's there.
And you could have more if you asked.
Thank you. We'd make sure they're trained as well.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
and there's no application here to change managers, to add managers, to change alternate managers, so it's really not on the table before
No,
us.
no, I'm just simply saying that if he needed more, we would approve them. Okay, I think for clarification, Mr. Allen, now that we've sorted out the fact that we're talking about ABCC numbers that don't seem to match the number on our liquor license, I'm going to insert in the vote, after what I'm going to say is a change in description of said license number, and this will be the one ending in 2.5.
Correct.
Okay, and that will, I hope, make it clear that we're not including 2.6. Okay?
We don't have it to amend.
All right. Any other questions from members of the board?
Nope.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak either in favor or in opposition of this proposal? Seeing and hearing none, I move that we approve the application of the Country Club, doing business as the Country Club, David Shag, manager, holder of an all-kinds alcoholic beverage license as a club at 191 Clyde Street, for a change in description of said ABCC issued license number 01480025.
I think
3
000.
Zeros, all right, 3 zeros, to include 1, the areas on premises previously covered by license number 0148-00026, and areas at 191 Clyde Street which were not previously included under either license. All in favor, please say aye. Selectman Daley?
Aye.
Selectman Benka?
Aye.
Selectman Goldstein?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Enjoy your boiler rooms and closets and whatever else you need.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
And thank you for providing Attorney Allen with another license to apply for.
Well,
Thank you all. Okay, last item is to vote an appointment to Access Television. Mr. Kleckner, would you like to assist us?
Yes.
Which one are we going to do?
We're going to do the 2015 vacancy.
Okay.
So there is a vacancy expiring in 2015, and I'll place the name of Noah Zhu for the board's vote.
Aye.
All right?
And that concludes the business of the Board of Selectmen for Tuesday, February 26th.